Regretfully, Shiro, what I'm about to tell you is unpleasant. I don't know of a way to break it to you gently, so I'll just have to say it for what it is.
What are you talking about? Why'd you even bring me in here? I have nothing to do with this.
Well, not directly.
Oh, don't tell me Kai is pinning this all on me, too.
No, he's not.
Then what is it?
Your friends Kayla and Ruby weren't the only victims of this picture fiasco. Charlotte Webb was also victimized. In fact, it seems like she was the main target. There were 5 photos posted around the school, 3 of which were of Charlotte and the other 2 of Kayla and Ruby. I'm sorry, Shiro.
A tear streaks onto the ground from Shiro's cheek as the memory fades. He then looks at his phone, praying that she at least read the text. Nope. Still undelivered. Shiro then wipes his eyes as he goes to his camera roll, scrolling through his photos. He comes across the picture he was searching for. It's a 2-year-old photo of them when they graduated middle school together. Shiro shuts his eyes, trying to hold back the floodgate of tears. There's no way Kai would do this. There's no way she had another breakdown.
This is all just a ruse. It's another one of Kai's elaborate, fucked up pranks.
His hands begin to shake. Shiro begins to scroll through the other photos of him and Charlotte throughout the years. From their times doing middle school science experiments, to their times hanging out outside of school, going to concerts, field trips, events, all their memories since they had gotten smartphones. The thought that she might have been taken away for good this time, that they'll never be able to see each other again. Another tear falls down Shiro's cheeks as he uses all his mental fortitude to not break down.
No, there's no way this could have happened. It's bad enough it happened to Kayla and Ruby, but not her, not Charlotte. She never hurt anybody. And I swear if anyone ever hurt her, I'd tear them apart. I left her side for too long. This happened because I wasn't around to defend her, to protect her. I failed her. I'm never going to make it up to her.
A strong gust of wind blows through Shiro, making him shield his face.
Ugh.
Shiro grunts to himself as he fixes his hair. As he does that, he wipes his tears away and notices a shadow on the ground in front of him. He then looks up, seeing a silhouette. Shiro couldn't quite make out who it was thanks to the sun being in his face. However, he did recognize that figure.
Charlotte?
Shiro tries to get out of his seat, but finds himself unable to move.
What's going on?
The figure kneels down to eye level with Shiro. He's able to get a better view of the figure now. It's definitely Charlotte. A wave of relief hits Shiro.
Oh, thank God.
Shiro opens his mouth to speak, but the words fail to leave his lips.
Don't worry about making it up to me. Just focus on being better. Whatever happens will happen for a reason. It's all God's plan for us. I have my own battles. I think it's too early for me to say whether I'll win mine. But I know you'll succeed.
Charlotte says as she outstretches her hand to touch Shiro's cheek. Surprisingly, he doesn't even feel her touch.
You're a good friend, Shiro. I wouldn't have traded you for anyone else,
she says with a heartwarming smile. Shiro lets out a shaky breath as he looks away from her. He shuts his eyes as more tears begin to burst out.
No, I haven't been a good friend to you. I let you down. I made you hurt Kai for my own ends. I made your issues worse. Your mental state is so bad because of me. You were taken away twice now because of me.
Shiro,
she says with a motherly tone.
No, don't say my name like that. You should be mad at me. You should hate me with every fiber of your being. I led you down this path.
Shiro, I know you'll succeed.
Please stop.
Shiro.
Shiro, said someone.
What?
Are you okay, Shiro? Please, talk to me.
That voice.
Shiro looks back at where Charlotte was standing.
It's Yuri.
He suddenly feels the soft touch of a hand on his cheek. Shiro does a double take with his eyes.
Wasn't Charlotte just there a second ago?
Shiro suddenly stands up and looks around the roof, catching Yuri off guard, who takes a big step back in shock. He scans the entire area, but doesn't see anyone else. Yuri cautiously steps back forward.
It's just us up here, Shiro.
Shiro then looks back at Yuri before looking off into the horizon once more.
Right, it was just my imagination. Sorry, I didn't mean to worry you,
he says as he plops back down onto the bench, staring down at the floor.
I just thought you were someone else.
Oh.
There's a long pause between the two as Shiro wipes the tears from his face and Yuri stands awkwardly, fidgeting with her hair.
I just wanted to check up on you. I haven't seen you in the last few days. And with everything that's happened today, I was worried, so I went looking for you.
Honestly, I think the last place I want to be is anywhere with people. I don't have the energy to be at home right now, and I don't want to be around anyone.
I'm sorry if I disturbed you. I'll take my leave,
she says with a slight bow. Yuri then begins to turn on her heel and make her way to the exit. Shiro sighs as he looks back at the ground. Just as Yuri puts her hand on the door handle, Shiro calls out,
Hey, wait!
Yuri inquisitively turns back around. There's a brief moment of silence between them.
Oh, fuck it.
He mutters to himself.
You can stay if you want. Maybe I just need someone to talk to help get my mind off things.
If that's your wish.
It is.
Yuri silently walks back over to Shiro and takes a seat next to him. Both stared out into the city skyline for the next several minutes.
I'm sorry about what happened to Charlotte. I've always heard nice things about her from Monica. I was hoping that I'd get to meet her one day. Maybe she'd even join the literature club.
I don't think she'd ever willingly leave the science club. They'd have to throw her out in a straitjacket if they ever wanted to get rid of her.
She's that dedicated, huh?
Yeah, science has always been her favorite subject. Mine too. That's how we got to know each other so well over these years. By some random chance up until this year, I'd always have science class with her. It's been that way since 3rd grade. She and I would always try to do these crazy do-it-yourself experiments we saw on TV or online. A lot of good times. We never blew ourselves up once.
Shiro lets out a slight laugh while Yuri smiles on.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, I heard that she suffered from some sort of memory problem. As in, she has trouble remembering people and events.
Yeah, she does. It's a long story, and I can't get into certain things, but it's mostly attributed to 2 things. First thing, her father is Pastor Webb, the Pastor Webb of St. Nicholas's Church.
Oh, that church has a reputation for being very fundamentalist.
Very. So as you can imagine, she's subjected to all the rigors of being a member of that church. It's grueling for her, physically and mentally, but she more or less willingly pushes herself through it. Suffice to say, there's plenty of things she'd rather forget about. Her father being the way he is didn't help things. At least during the school year, he takes it relatively easy on her. And the second thing, she's had a few traumatic head injuries throughout the years. She's really lucky to be alive. The first time she slipped and hit her head in the shower when she was 10, she was lucky her mom was home, otherwise she would have been found dead. That's when she started having memory lapses. She also started suffering from blackouts and passing out at random times. She pulled through, thankfully enough, but she was out of school for a while and those issues never really went away. The second big one happened a few years later when she was riding to school on her bike. She passed out and drove into an old well. It was covered with spiders. Ironically, all the webs down there is what saved her life.
So her namesake is what saved her life. Very poetic.
Yeah, it is. Her mom was actually some sort of spider scientist, so that's how Charlotte got her name. So when they found her in that well, knowing that there's all those spiders down there and not the friendly kind, it's a miracle she wasn't bitten. But she injured her head on the way down and the issues only got worse for her. That's when she began having difficulty remembering names, faces, places, all those sorts of things. Charlotte could remember things well enough if there was an emotional impression left on her, so given the first thing I mentioned...
It's most of what she could remember.
Yeah. So she tried suppressing certain memories, but that just caused strain on her mental health since they would just pop up in her head at random times, which caused her to have emotional outbursts. There's times where she'd have to be taken out of the school for days on end because she was having an episode. Usually it was random, but sometimes it was triggered by someone or something. When she rejected Kai back in middle school, she had a pretty bad episode then too because of his reaction. She still blames herself for the way he ultimately turned out. Eventually, Charlotte just learned to cope by living her life on fast forward. It helped her with forgetting the unpleasant things. Since then, she doesn't remember much consciously. She's also had a few horseback riding accidents, but she never really hit her head. Still, though, it was scary for her. She still retains academic material fairly well. Not quite as well as she'd used to, but she's still an honors student. Charlotte was a mess for a while, and I did my best to help her through it. She was slowly recovering until all this. I did lose contact with her for the most part last year as she was dealing with her issues, and it wasn't something I really knew how to handle. Plus, I had my own problems which have been well documented at this point.
I'm sorry to hear about that.
It's not your fault. She may have had her problems health-wise, but she was still the best friend I've ever had. I wouldn't have traded her for anyone else.
It's good to have a friend like that. Hopefully you'll be reunited sooner rather than later.
We will, I'm sure of it.
Shiro and Yuri spent the next few minutes in silence, staring out into the city skyline, rather than staring. An occasional breeze ruffles through their hair. Yuri closes her eyes as she takes in the touch of the breeze, then looks back out into the horizon.
It's peaceful, isn't it? I used to spend a lot of time up here, before I joined the literature club, I mean. Before I really had any friends.
Shiro looks back over at Yuri.
There was no way you were some friendless loser. No, not someone as kind and gentle as you.
Well, unfortunately, it's the truth. I came from one of the smaller middle schools here. Not too many people I knew from there went here. The closest people I could call my friends were either went to the other high school or moved away. I've always been a bit of a shut-in. I prefer the company of my books over people. I never met too many people that I was able to connect with. I didn't mind it so much, though. I was content.
So, how'd you end up with the literature club?
Ah, that's a story. I happened to have Monica in one of my classes last year. She always knew I was a reader. Monica always saw me in the library or reading in my little corner during class. So when Monica came up with the idea of a literature club, she approached me on the first day and asked if I wanted to join. I thought it was too good to be true at first, especially someone as popular as Monica making a rather niche club, but after some convincing, I agreed to check out the club. I came to the first meeting and the rest is history. We haven't been around as a club for very long. We started on the first day. But it's quite amazing how quickly the four of us have become friends.
Huh, it's kind of amazing you guys were able to form so quickly.
Well, Monica knew all of us beforehand, so I assumed she had us in mind as the potential members when she was making the club. None of us were ever friends before this. We just only knew about each other from our classes or passing by in the hallway.
I remember Sayori from middle school, but that's about it.
Really? That's nice. Was she as lovely then as she is now?
She hasn't changed a bit.
Yuri giggles.
Well, it's good that she's been able to maintain her joy and happiness through the years.
Yeah.
There's another long pause between them.
How's Monica holding up?
Yuri lets out a sigh.
Not good, as you can imagine. Jeremy summoned her to his office where he told her everything. She was devastated. I tried to calm her down and I was going to bring her some tea before a thought came to mind.
Yeah, what's that?
Maybe you can help calm Monica down.
I, don't think that's a good idea.
Why not?
Do you not know our history? If anything, I think the last person she'd want to see is me.
That's true. There is some risk to this. But you're both friends of Charlotte. You both care about her deeply and you're both upset at what happened. Maybe your mutual connection with her can help you both work out your grief. Besides, I think you're overestimating Monica's dislike towards you. She did say you were welcome to come to the literature club whenever you liked.
Yeah, that's true, but I took it more as a come here when you're in danger kind of thing.
Well, you've both an emotional distress that can be dangerous to your health in the long term. In my eyes, that warrants an emergency, does it not?
It's a bit of a stretch, but
Shiro lets out a defeated sigh.
alright, well, if you think it'll work.
I'm sure it will.
Yuri says with beaming optimism. Shiro stands up from his bench and walks over to join Yuri as they make their way to the stairwell. As Shiro is about to enter after Yuri, he feels another breeze come over and looks back over his shoulder. He sees Charlotte again, standing right where she was by the foot of the bench. He turns fully back to face her. There's a long moment of silence between them. The two just stare at each other. Shiro was lost for words.
The heat must be getting to me.
Shiro, you coming?
Yuri calls out from the bottom of the stairwell.
Yeah, I'm coming,
he says, turning back down to call out to her. Shiro takes one more look back at Charlotte, who is still standing there, smiling at him warmly. He stands there for a moment, recalling their last conversation.
Just focus on being better. I know you'll succeed. Could it mean? I don't want to keep Yuri waiting.
Shiro returns a small smile, waving back to Charlotte's specter before walking down the hall or the stairwell. I don't know if this is like another version of the word specter, but usually it's two E's, isn't it? Monica dispiritingly looks out the window from the teacher's desk, with Sayori and Natsuki sitting across from her. She lets out another sigh as she dabs her eyes with a tissue.
I just hope she's okay.
Monica says wearily as she lets out a sniffle.
She's in good hands, Monica. I'm sure we'll hear something soon.
Yeah, Monica, for right now it's best that you try to take your mind off of it. I think Yuri's world famous tea will help.
Speaking of Yuri, where is she? She better not have ditched us for Adrian again.
She said that Adrian would be coming to pick her up when the club was over, though.
Yeah, right. She's used that excuse before.
Well, I don't believe she'd use it in a time like this. If she wanted to, I wouldn't be mad at her. Yuri's always been a shy person. She's not the best equipped for situations like this. Besides, there's really no point in even having a club meeting today, not when I'm like this. It's fine if we don't have an official meeting today. Our club is more than just that, after all. We're all friends here.
Yeah, we're not leaving you alone like this, Monica. It wouldn't be right.
Oh, you guys.
Monica says as tears of gratitude stream from her face. The door to the club opens and Yuri and Shiro come into the room, catching Monica by surprise.
Yuri, you're back!
And you brought company?
Shiro fully steps out from behind Yuri. There's a pause in the room for a moment. Natsuki looks back and forth between Yuri and Shiro, while Sayori looks worriedly at Monica. Monica stares back at Shiro and Yuri, another tear streaking down her face. Shiro then takes a step back.
If you don't want me here, I'll...
No,
The girls look to Monica in confusion as she wipes her tears away.
no, you can stay if you want. Don't cause any trouble, please.
Shiro nods understandingly as he takes a seat on the opposite side of the room while Yuri brings her her tea tray over to the girls. Unsure what to do, he stares at the wall.
Thank you, Yuri. You have no idea how much I needed this today. Well, we can always use more tea in our lives.
Yuri says with a slight chuckle as she takes her cup. Each of the girls takes their cup and begins drinking while Shiro looks on. Natsuki, noticing Shiro's exclusion, rolls her eyes and calls out to him.
Shiro? Yeah? Stop looking like a poor relative and get over here, you big dummy! Is that okay?
Shiro says, looking at Monica. Monica nods slowly. Shiro slowly walks over and takes a seat at the end of the table next to Yuri. Monica doesn't make eye contact with Shiro as she clutches her teacup with both hands and stares at the back of the room. Sayori gives Monica a soft shoulder pat while Natsuki and Yuri enjoy their tea. Shiro notices an extra cup on the tray. He then looks over to Yuri for approval to take it.
So, you made 5 cups?
Oh yeah, I had an extra. You can have it.
Oh, thanks.
Shiro takes the cup.
You drink tea often, Shiro?
No, not often. I'm more of a Mountain Dew guy.
Well, if you're into sweet things, I think this will strike your fancy. Give it a try.
Shiro nods as he obliges to Yuri's request. He takes a sip from the cup.
Hey, this ain't half bad.
You like it?
Yeah, it's good. What is it?
Green tea. It's something of a club favorite here. Yeah, I also love Natsuki's cupcakes.
You know, if today was going to happen the way it did, I would have brought some brownies.
Your special brownies?
Yup.
Natsuki says with a chuckle.
Well, then I have one.
Natsuki nervously laughs off Sayori's question. However, she catches Yuri staring at her.
I mean, come on, don't act like you haven't thought about it either.
I didn't say anything.
Sayori looks between Yuri and Natsuki, the meaning of their exchange completely lost on her.
What are you guys talking about? Oh, don't worry about it.
Shiro nervously looks off as he takes another sip of his tea.